Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Rodriguez, and we're back today with another episode. Took a little bit of a break from Thursday, which was July 4th, obviously, and then had some stuff happening on Friday, and then obviously we don't do episodes Saturday, Sunday, and we're back again on Monday, so it feels like I haven't done one of these in a while. But in all honesty, I don't think I've missed a whole lot. Obviously, baseball's been watched. I haven't just like completely gone away from baseball or anything like that, but yeah, so we're going to get into this. Got a couple topics. Mostly the meat of this episode is going to be the fact that they announced the All-Star rosters officially, because the game is next Tuesday with the Home Run Derby being on Monday. So that's exciting. There will be no baseball games then. So a lot of teams are trying to get some strong games in this week before they head into that break, because that really marks like the mid-year, and that's kind of where people are going to start really kind of honing down on playoff positions and stuff like that. So it's about to start heating up pretty good. And then obviously the trade deadline ends at the end of the month. So there should be a lot happening in the next coming weeks, if I'm being honest. But before we get to the All-Stars and all that kind of stuff, I think we have to note that the Astros have been playing a lot better ball. But that's not who. I don't know why the Astros came into my mind. I think I got a thing over here with the Astros on it. But we need to talk about the Yankees and the fact that the Yankees have now lost 7 straight series in a row, with capping off a second series loss to the Red Sox, who basically at this point, everywhere I've seen on the internet, everyone thinks that Rafael Devers owns the Yankees. I don't. He's a great ball player. I actually have a couple of bobbleheads from Rafael Devers when I went to the Red Sox game and they were giving him out. So he's a great ball player. Don't take away from that. I think he's just lucky in New York against New York. Though he's got like 70 RBIs or something like that, the most home runs amongst active players against New York. So that's going for him as well. But yeah, yesterday this whole weekend just seemed kind of weird. The Yankees put a beating on him on Saturday, 14-4 or some shit like that. And then Friday and Sunday, just it's really hard. A team is struggling, right? And this is like, everyone's like, "Oh, it's the Yankees. You guys still have one of the best records in baseball." And I'm like, "Yeah, they do. The Yankees do have one of the best records in baseball, though it's slowly dwindling." And I know a team is struggling when you're watching them, and they go down 1-0, and it feels like a deafening blow. Like you're like, fucking game over. And that's what it felt like when Devers hit that home run. I think it was like the 7th or the 8th. I think it was the 7th. And then Rafael came in and hit another one in the 8th, I think, to kind of make it 3-0. When they hit the 1, you could just feel and this is me watching at home, I could feel the team just deflate. It was just like, fuck. And I saw a poll. John Boy posted a poll. Should they send Severino back out there for the 7th to face him? I voted no. I was amongst the lower majority because a lot of people thought he should go back out there. He had a great game, only gave up that 1 run. So it wasn't completely terrible from heel, but at the same time, why would you say the dude has been on fire? Why you keep pitching to him? And everyone's like, should you walk? They asked Boone, should you walk him? And he's like, nah. Why would we? Because he's hit like I don't know how many home runs and is like absolutely dominant against you guys. Why wouldn't you just pitch around him? And then they actually did pitch around him, and he smashed it. So I don't know. Ball was like way out of the zone. But anyway, that's besides the point. I think it's time to note that the Yankees are struggling big time, and I think that any fans that are they're going to keep saying, oh, or any other fans that are going to keep being like, oh, quit being so spoiled, like you're the Yankees, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. They're the Yankees. I understand, but at the same time, like this is not a little skid. No, we're talking 7 series in a row. They've lost 15 of their last 20. Something has to change. I don't know what Cashman's got to do. I don't know what Boone is not the problem. I hate the fact that people keep saying that Boone is the issue. Boone is not the problem here. He's not. All he can do is take his roster, which he does night in and night out, and put the best dudes that he puts them in a position to succeed every night. It's like, yeah, Oswaldo Cabrera could probably be playing more. One thing. I get that. Okay. Maybe that's one thing he can switch around. But you're dealing with the Rizzo injury, which Ben Rice has been great in that spot. So will Rizzo even come back and really play? I don't know. Ben catches a trade by choice. They're having some issues behind the plate. Will it go back behind the plate? I don't think that's going to happen either. I don't know what's going to happen. But Ben Rice has been phenomenal at first base and has been phenomenal at the leadoff spot this past weekend. 3 home runs on Saturday, his first curtain call, so that's great. But at the same time, some of these other pieces, this bullpen, starting pitching hasn't been awful, but it hasn't been like the way it started. But the bullpen, the Yankees bullpen, Clay Holmes as an all-star should not be giving up these kind of hits. Conley should be doing a little bit more sharper, but like Weaver, all these other guys, man, they got to figure something out. If not, Cashman's got to send them on the road and get some guys in that can play, because this is just dismal at best. A far cry from where we started, from where they started. Sorry, I keep saying that. I don't know. It's a little bit deflating as a Yankee fan to watch them right now. Very deflating. But anyway, aside from that, again, the Yankees can tomorrow, or maybe not today, but tomorrow, can figure something out and get this thing back on the road, because right now this is just brutal. It's hard to watch. And especially when someone hits a 1-run homer and it feels like the game's over, that should be a pretty much a telltale sign that you're in trouble. In other news, I did want to talk. I did want to talk about this before we got into the All-Star stuff. So Carlos Correa has exited the game yesterday, and this has kind of been a trend these past couple weeks, I think, with people getting hit in the hand, guys working inside and getting that two-seam run a little bit too far in and hitting people in the hand. You had Corey Seager get hit in the forearm a couple weeks ago. I thought he was going to miss time, but he's back. He's doing all right. Carlos Correa is the latest guy to exit a game from getting hit in the hand. That one looked pretty bad. He had Betts, who fractured his hand. Altuve got hit a couple days ago. Reynefoe got hit in the hand again as well. So this is, I don't know what the solution is here. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's anything that can truly be done, or if this is just like a lineup of freak accidents that happens. Because I don't think I've seen this many guys hit up and in like this in a season in the last span of a month. This many guys, it's just kind of weird. I haven't seen that. And now that I'm seeing it now, a little weird, but just something to note, man. I'm like, there's a lot of hand injuries this year. Though Altuve is no stranger to getting hit in the hand. I think that's just where he stands in the box. I remember he got hit in the hand in the World Baseball Classic, and he missed a good chunk of the season last year. But at the same time, like, this is just a lot. I feel like there's a lot of guys getting hit in the hand, whether that's pitchers that are not as in control of their pitches, whatever it is. It's bad for the game, man. You're getting a lot of guys hit, and a lot of guys are going to have to miss time. Speaking of broken hands, though, and I was going to make kind of a social post about this. Colton Brewer of the Cubs, just kind of funny, punched a wall yesterday and broke his hand. So he's going to go on the IL. I'm no stranger to rage moments. I've been the kind of guy who punches bags. I throw stuff. I've been that guy because I'm a very emotional player, though. I mean, I was an emotional player, though I don't show it. And never once in my most heated of moments have I ever thought, that wall, I'm going to go punch that fucking wall. Because no matter, even in your most rageful moments in the game, you want to let that frustration out because outing didn't go your way, strikeout, ground out, whatever happened that didn't go your way. There's a lot of frustration built up in that. And even then, like, even in the most times where I've lost my shit, I've never thought, I'm going to go punch a fucking wall. That never ends well. No matter how mad you are, I'm not going to cause physical harm to myself or somebody else. I'm not going to go punch a fucking wall. So, I mean, hey, maybe dude wanted to get sent down. I don't know. But that just thought that was the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Go punch a fucking wall and then miss 8 weeks. If anyone's listening and you're thinking about punching a wall, don't do it. It's going to hurt. And there's going to be no reward. In fact, it's going to make it worse. All right, so into the All-Stars. First, I'm going to start with snubs, because before we get into it, snubs, because everyone's got their snubs. Number one, Logan O'Hoppe, tearing it up as a catcher. He's 265 at bats, 275. How did he get not picked over some guys? I don't know. Let me see the All-Star rosters. Let me see. I have them on my phone, but I want to put them next to these snubs if I can type right. All right. Okay. Before we get into snubs, though, Logan O'Hoppe is a snub. Let's get to the starters of the American League. We got Adley Rutschman at catcher, Vladimir Guerrero at first, Jose Altuve at second, Jose Ramirez at third, Gunnar Henderson at short, Judge in the outfield, Kwan in the outfield, of course, Juan Soto, and Yordan Alvarez is the DH. Hard to argue with that lineup. Really, really hard to argue with that lineup. Nationally, we got William Contreras behind the plate, of course. Bryce Harper, yes. Ketel Marte, good. Alec Baum, good. Trey Turner, good. Jerickson Profar, okay. Tatis Jr., yes. Yelich, yeah, okay. And then Shohei, of course. So, yeah, I mean, hard to argue that. Okay, here we go. Pitchers For the American League, we've got Tyler Anderson, Corbin Burns, Emmanuel Clase, Garrett Crochet, Logan Gilbert, Clay Holmes, Tanner Hook, Seth Lugo, Mason Miller, of course, Cole Raggins, Tarek Gubal, and Kirby Yates. Hard to argue these, man. These are some guys who have been really dealing and have been doing really good. Tyler Glasnow, Los Angeles Dodgers, of course. Ryan Helsley, St. Louis. Jeff Hoffman, Shota Imanaga, of course. Reynaldo Lopez, Chris Sale, of course. Tanner Scott, Paul Skeens. We're going to talk about Paul Skeens. Matt Strahm, okay. Ranger Suarez hasn't been good of late, but tore it up at the beginning of the year. Robert Suarez, okay. Logan Webb and Zach Wheeler. All right. Let's look at the reserves. Okay, reserves. We have Salvador Perez, Will Smith, and then for the American League, we've got Carlos Correa, Devers. Devers should have got a starting spot, I think. That would have been that's a tough one. That's a toss up. Josh Naylor, Isaac Perez, Marcus Semien, Bobby Witt. Okay, I thought Bobby Witt would have been a starter, bro. I thought over that's tough. That's a tough spot. National League, CJ Abrams, Pete Alonso. Okay, so I've had a lot of people upset about the Pete Alonso thing. I've heard a lot of people talking about the Pete Alonso, and there was a lot of comparisons last night when I was kind of researching what to talk about today. There's a lot of people up in arms about the Pete Alonso getting selected and Christian Walker not. He's on the snub list, so we're going to talk about it. But yeah, Mookie Betts is not going to play. Obviously, he's hurt, but he was a reserve. Ellie De La Cruz, okay. Freddie Freeman and Ryan McMahon. Okay, so those are our all-stars. Not bad. Oh, let's get into the, American League outfielders. Jarren Duran, okay. Riley Green, Kyle Tucker. And then National League, we've got Teoscar Hernandez, Jackson Merrill, Helio Ramos, and Brian Reynolds. And then DH is Marcelo Zuna, David Fry. Yeah. Oh, God, excuse me. I have my morning coffee. I'm having decaf because we ran out of coffee, so mind my yawns. Anyway, so those are the all-stars. Again, a lot of these guys have been absolutely tearing it up. It's hard to go against it. You can't really argue some of these guys, especially like I think people go back and forth on reserves because there's guys that probably could have gone either way. But when it comes to starters, it's really hard to argue these. Pitching wise, really can't. And then in the infield, I think there's just guys that are very similar, and then it comes down to the popular vote. Like at shortstop, Trey Turner, I know missed some time, but Trey Turner has been absolutely annihilating the baseball as of late. Putting him over, maybe instead of a Bobby Witt, it's tough. But yeah, Trey Turner has the tenure. He's been in the league for a long time, played on multiple teams, so he's obviously going to get that popularity pick. So, but let's look at some of the snubs. But before we get to the snubs, Paul Skeens is elected as an all-star. A lot of people wanted him to start the All-Star game. I never thought that was a possibility. I thought for sure he'd get voted as an all-star after he qualified. He did. But he made history. First player to get drafted the year before and make an all-star roster this subsequent year. That's impressive, man. People can shit on Paul Skeens all fucking day. The guy can ball, dude. Whatever you want to say about him, whatever you think you know about him, you think he's that good, overrated. Can't argue with stats, guys. Can't argue with stats and how well he's pitched and how dominant he's been. Obviously, people kind of think, well, he's overrated because people heard all the hype and thought he was going to come out and throw a no-hitter every time he stepped on the mound. Again, outlandish to think. But again, Paul Skeens making history. That's pretty cool, I think. Now, let's get to some of these snubs. We already talked about Logan O'Hoppe. Batting 275, 12 home runs, 1 stolen base, and a 798 OPS. Yeah. So William Contreras obviously got voted in, and Cal Raleigh have only caught more innings than him, which is a workload of recognition. I'd assume so. Christian Walker was the guy that I think stat-wise did have better stats than Pete Alonso, which is why a lot of people were upset. 268, 22 home runs, and an 853 OPS, and he got snubbed, bro. That's doing him a disservice. With all due respect to Pete Alonso, it shouldn't have been Alonso's pick. I am actually a little bit upset about that. I read it. I looked it up. I dug into the stats. Christian Walker 100% should have been in the home run derby and in the All-Star game, even as a reserve, and it should not have been Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso has not done enough to warrant that kind of glory. Bryce Durang, yeah. I don't know. 288, 6 home runs, 758 OPS. Pretty good. Josh Smith, another guy, 292. Dang. 7 home runs. I guess if you're going to pick an infielder, it was going to be Marcus Semien just because he's Marcus Semien. Josh Young is still hurt. Corey Seager is often injured, so not going to be him. Missing time as well. Thought it could have been more. Mason Wynn, 294 average is no shit on, but dude, I don't know about that one. I'm just gonna leave no comment there. Then we got Willie Castro, 271, 796 OPS with 7 bombs. Yeah, dude. When you put this guy up against, when you put this guy up with against some of these other guys, like some guys, Josh Naylor, Teoscar Hernandez. Jaron Duran is great. Jaron Duran's a good ball player, but I think that these stat lines are better than his. They are. That's wrong. Brandon Nimmo for the Mets. It's 249, 811, OPS, 13 bombs. Yeah, he should have been voted in. Anthony Santander of the Orioles. Ronel Blanco. Whoa. Why didn't Ronel Blanco? I forgot about him. Wow. 253 RA with 39 walks and 88 strikeouts, a 101 whip. 4th lowest ERA among qualified starters. Shocked. I am shocked. Wow. He has been the stud for Houston this year. The guy. Not Framber, not Luis Garcia who's hurt, not Urquidy who's hurt, not McCullers, not any of these other motherfuckers that they have on this roster. This guy has carried the Astros thus far. He got a little bit in some sticky situation earlier this year. But fuck, man. That's an injustice. That's fucked up. Christopher Sanchez, okay. I don't agree with that one. Joe Ryan, I don't agree with that one. Jake Irvin, I don't agree with that. Eric Fed, maybe. 313 ERA, 106 innings pitched. Still better than him, I think. Hunter Gaddis, Ryan Walker. Kenley Jansen as a closer. Up there in age. 17 for 18 in save opportunities. He looked good last night. I'll say that. I watched him pitch last night. He looked good. I think when it comes to closers, there's better. Sorry, there's better than Jansen. Jansen's getting up there. I think, what is he, 35, 36? Been in the league for a while. Atlanta, Los Angeles, now Boston. I don't agree with that one. I don't agree. I think Kensley's good, but he's been there, done that. Maybe not. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. That's all of our All-Stars, our All-Star snubs. You got the Paul Skeens deal breaking history, and then obviously we talked about the Yankees having issues and all the hand injuries. So thanks for listening, guys. I promise not to take a break like this again. This was kind of a weird thing, a weird time. I kind of need a little bit of time to kind of just recuperate a little bit, but we're going to be back at it this week. We're going to have lots of social stuff happening, podcasts. I need to get some breakdowns. It's been like a month since I've done a breakdown, so we need to get that going. There just hasn't been a whole lot, honestly, like breakdown-wise. I haven't really seen anything where I'm like, yeah, I got to talk about this. It just does not there, But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We got a lot of stuff on there. If you're on YouTube, you're watching this, listening on YouTube, like, follow, subscribe. Let me hit that notification thing. I think that's the thing that people are saying. Now hit the notification so when I post a video, you guys are the first to know about it. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening, and we will catch you guys tomorrow.